And we are live. There we go. It is 4 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. I am James McCartney, senior numismatist here at Stax Bowers, and this is an iteration of both sides of the coins, heads or tails. We are going to have a discussion today with my colleague Ben Orooji from our California office, and this is going to be an ongoing series where we bring you a few different perspectives on the coin market, coin collecting. So let me see if I can bring Ben on to join us. Again, if you're just joining us now, my name is James McCartney. I'm a senior numismatist in our New York City office, and this is one of our ongoing discussions every Tuesday and Thursday afternoon. You can join us right here on our Instagram Live channel and watch a few of us have a fun conversation. So let me see if I can bring my colleague Ben on. Let's see here. Let's see. All right, thank you anyone who's just joined us. We are going to be in discussion with Benjamin Orooji from my California office. And let's see. Just waiting to pull him on. Maybe give another couple minutes for everyone to join. 4:02. Thank you everyone for joining us. Let's see here if we can get Ben Orooji. Let's see. I can't seem to find Ben Orooji, so we might have to go on without him. Let's see if he shows up at some point. Let's see. All right, let's see where up there we go. Again, my name is James McCartney, numismatist at our Stax Bowers office. Today we're going to have a chat with Ben Orooji on a few different perspectives on coin collecting. So just give us a minute. We're going to get Ben on the line and we will begin. Okay, so today we're going to talk about collecting from a specialized perspective versus a more broad perspective, assembling a typeset, something that undoubtedly everyone has explored at some point. I mean, when you're first getting into collecting, you want to focus. I know that I at least need to focus my collecting. Otherwise, I would be buying way too often, way too much cool stuff. And today we're going to discuss a few ways to focus that collection. And here we go. Ben Orooji, let's see if we can bring. And is he joining us? There we go. Something's happening. Hey, there we go. Ben Orooji. Welcome to the stream. How are you?
Excellent. How is New York right now?
New York is great. It's nice and sunny out. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling fun. I'm wearing my flamingo shirt, and nice. I'm happy to talk coins. So,
awesome.
So Ben, I was telling our viewers before you logged on that today we're going to discuss a few different perspectives on building a collection. Really,
absolutely.
Do you want to start us off by telling everyone the evolution of your collection, your hobby?
Oh gosh, so I kind of started like a lot of people did, and I was just collecting things that showed up in my spare change that looked interesting, and that quickly evolved to filling out the Lincoln Cent book like everybody does and plugging in all the Lincoln Cent on. And I got interested in all of the Lincoln Cent double dies and over mint marks and things like that a lot of people do.
Sure.
And so I started collecting those in a really big way, and quantity over quality kind of thing. And then I kind of got sidetracked to collecting a typeset, which is kind of what I wanted to talk about here.
Sure.
Because I feel like that's a really good spot to learn a lot about numismatics.
Great approach.
While pursuing my typeset, I got sucked into capped bust reeded edge half dollars.
Okay.
1836 to 1839, and I collect those by die variety. Very few people do that, but you know, it's just very kind of geeky kind of stuff.
Sure.
But
we know about geeky in this hobby, definitely.
Yes, we are. And through that, I kind of just got exposed to a lot wider range of numismatics, exonumia, things like that. But the typeset has always been a kind of either the you know, kind of a back seat, but like right below, you know, the forefront of cap bust reeded edge half dollars. So I've deviated in a lot of different directions. I've collected Sustanian stuff. I collect antique toy money, as you may well know. But the typeset is always there. And not just one, two, but anyway. What about yourself? Didn't you start doing typeset collecting at some point?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I think that's a journey that a lot of collectors go through. You know, I started very broad. I mean, I started the way a lot of collectors do, Morgan silver dollars. You know, it's a nice, big, flashy coin, not too expensive. And then from there, I wanted to learn more about other U.S. coin series. So I built a typeset, a Dansko 7070, which is a very familiar album. And from there, I fell in love with a few different design types. I really love early copper, and I've kind of been more and more focused ever since. So I guess let's dive in and discuss the benefits of both perspectives, both collecting as a type collector, various series, and then a more specialized set. So Ben, I think you're still actively building a typeset. So why don't we start off with that?
Well, yeah, that's interesting. So actually, recently, within the last year or so, I sold off almost all of my raw typesets.
Okay.
And now I own a few of those coins, but I still have, you know, typesets in the background. You know, but I've done that for a number of years now, where I will build a typeset, and what I mean by typeset is a raw typeset, one that I'm actually putting into a holder. And
Sure.
you know, you can start with a lot of different things. I have one here that I want to show. It's kind of like most basic Capital Plastics typeset. I'm not sure if you can see it very well. So there.
Yeah, looks nice and clear.
That options.
Now
But
what?
it's, you know, a 19th century typeset.
Sure. I mean, that's 19th century is the range of coinage that covers?
Yeah, it's got about 30 coins. You know, it's not too hard to fill, honestly. I mean, you've got the trade dollar and the Liberty seated dollar that might, you know, be a little bit of, you know, expensive or not, but not too expensive.
Sure.
But it's really not that many coins, and you can put that together pretty quickly. But I prefer, like what you did, the Dansko 7070. The 7070, I feel like, is the classic typeset that everybody puts together eventually.
Absolutely.
And they're all focused on it. And I think most people who are viewing have probably seen this, but, you know, they look like this.
Sure.
They've got, you know, all of the holes for all the major design types. And you can keep going. And then sometimes you can add like a bicentennial page if you so chose.
Sure.
You can add a gold page if you so chose.
The optional gold page. I know that's a polarizing page to add depending on your budget or your interest.
Sure. But I like the typesets because, you know, you can enter the hobby without a lot of money. And that's kind of one of the things that I think is intimidating for a lot of people. They say, you know, I like coins, you know, I'm interested in them, but I don't want to spend thousands of dollars, you know, without knowing a heck of a lot. And you can kind of start collecting typeset stuff by getting, you know, a nice Lincoln cent and a nice Buffalo nickel and Barber coinage, and you're spending, you know, $20 and $50 and, you know, maybe even $100 at a time.
A great value, a great investment in your education into coinage, right?
That's the biggest thing. You know, you learn so much by collecting typesets.
Sure.
You know, you're learning about each design. I mean, if you're doing it the right way, you could. I suppose you could just, you know, be like, okay, I got to fill the hole and buy anything. You know,
I may admit to that. I'm more impulsive than I'd like to admit, but right. Ideally, you're studying the history behind each design, right? The engraver, the economic situation it was struck during.
Absolutely, you're learning to see, you know, like which dates are more common than others. You know, which dates are more well struck than others because you're probably going to want, the date that's more easily available, that you're able to buy, something that's really nicely struck for the issue or the grade that you're seeking. And one of the cool things you can do is you can try to match the grade, between your typeset. So personally, for raw typesets, I feel like the EF to AU details is really a sweet spot.
Yeah, definitely something that has a little bit of wear, but still plenty of luster. I mean, it's a great eye appeal, and then also a great value. You're not paying the big premiums for a mint state coin, but you still get a lot of that detail.
Sure, absolutely. And you can do the slabbed approach to a typeset. A lot of people do that. Where you're getting, mint state 63. I all want choice mint state, or 4, 5. But once you move up to, I want gem mint state, coins for my typeset, you're spending some money there. I mean, maybe not for a link, but for, a seeded dollar, that's going to be some.
Absolutely.
That's going to be some.
And I think we're seeing more and more of that certified typeset grow in popularity due to the registry sets, right? The PCGS registry set, the NGC census. I mean, more and more collectors, they want their coins in slabs, and they want to show off the set to others online.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%. But, so here's the kind of thing where, everybody differs in numismatics and how you want to collect. I like typesets where it's raw, where I'm putting it into the album, and I'm okay buying a slab coin at a certain level and cracking it out of the tomb.
Liberating
putting it into, cracking it out of the tomb and putting it into the album. And, you're going to get a lot of people who are, professional numismatists who are going to tell you, you need to be buying, quality coins. It makes sense. But for your typeset, you can buy an AU details cleaned coin that doesn't look half bad, put it in the typeset, and in my opinion, you're almost elevating the coin. It looks in slab.
We might disagree on that, but I understand the tangible appeal of an uncertified coin, and especially a U.S. coin that was made to be spent, right? These coins that us as collectors are prizing in mint state, they were meant to be handled and spent and abused.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I like that kind of thing, and you're able to get good value at that level. Now, on the other hand, and I think you want to talk more about like the specialty side of things, like specializing your collection.
Yeah.
Once you go that route, I do agree that certified coins make a heck of a lot of sense, especially if you're buying things that are at the higher level. If you're buying mint state 63, trade dollars and seeded dollars and whatnot, you might as well buy the slab and keep it in the slab.
Sure. I mean, there's a lot of reassurance that comes from buying a certified coin, right? You're looking at, first of all, authenticity, right? That's an important thing. The certification reassures you, but also grade, the absence of any type of alterations, doctoring. So, when you're making significant investments, you're talking about mint state seeded dollars or trade dollars, certification tends to make sense. I mean, that extra $50 premium you're going to pay for a certified coin is usually a pretty good investment.
No, absolutely, yeah, it makes sense, and particularly when you specialized as you have. But you don't always have to buy certified, even when you specialize, right? 'Cause don't you?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Yeah, so right now I'm specializing in ancient Greek silver coinage that features musical instruments. I've done a few discussions on ancient Greek coinage in the past couple weeks, so I won't dive into it too much. But first of all, getting back to your point about raw versus certified, there's something beautiful about the tangibility of an uncertified coin. As I mentioned, these coins are meant to be spent, to be handled. It's a very controversial opinion in our industry, certified versus raw, and they both have their merits. But for my specialized collection, I definitely prefer a raw collection, something that I can handle and experience like they were meant to be handled.
Sure. Yeah. Now it's funny you mentioned that, because when we talk about the raw versus certified, one of the things I do think is cool is when you're giving us coins, and you see this all the time when you're taking in consignments, a lot of times the collections that we're taking in are raw, right?
Right.
But we are then certifying them to sell at auction. They have to be certified almost always to sell at auction because that's kind of what the market expects and what they want. But
Sure.
That's not how we necessarily take in the collection. You're allowed to take. You're allowed to collect however you want to.
Sure.
And I'm reminded by that because. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say there's nothing more exciting than getting an old time collection in, something that was built in the 50s or 60s, decades before certification, and they're in envelopes or flips, and usually with some really nice toning, and it makes you realize how much collecting or the approach to collecting has evolved over the past 50 years. I mean, in terms of coinage and numismatics, certified coins are relatively new. It's a new phenomenon. I think, again, it has its advantages, but if you talk to collectors from previous generations, this represents a very stark change in the approach to coins.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I agree with you. One of the things. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, returning to the specialized versus typeset discussion, a more relevant or maybe more familiar specialized approach that also tends to prefer raw coins is early copper, U.S. early copper. Right? I mean, we see that most collectors, they want to be able to feel and handle the coins. And with these coins, whether it's state coppers, New Jersey coppers, or Connecticut coppers, or even federal coinage like large cents, half cents, people usually want to touch and handle these, and it also helps to be able to identify varieties. And I think that is key for specialized specialized collections. I mean, I know you with your Reed Edge half dollars, varieties are everything. That's what makes it fun.
Matter.
Sure.
I've done this several times where I've bought a certified coin, a Reed Edge half dollar. It was a nice coin.
Of course.
And I thought that I had the variety, but I wasn't quite sure. Reed Edge half dollars are much harder to attribute than the regular cat bust half dollars.
I will attest to that, definitely.
So I've actually, bought certified coins. I cracked it out of the holder so I could just be sure of the variety. Okay. And then I sent it back into the services to get certified again. Sure. I mean,
you and I know that the differences between these minor varieties are so insignificant. You need strong magnification. You can't have that piece of plastic between you and the surface of the coin. But ultimately, it's these varieties that make specialized collecting so exciting. It's that hunt. It's the thrill.
Yeah.
It's building a complete set of, say, every known die pair that created a series of coins, and that's for me what's so exciting. The difference between a few, or I should say, the difference between a die pair, one variety to the next, could mean thousands of dollars in value, depending on the grade. It's definitely presents a challenge, but there's also that thrill of accomplishment when you identify the right variety, and especially if it's a rare variety.
Yeah, but whenever people get into numismatics, when people start talking to me about stuff, and they're like, "Oh, how did you get into coins? I'd like to collect coins." Sure. I always steer them in the same direction: typeset. It's always the same for me. And I can't tell you how many Dansko 7070 albums I've given away over the years. I've probably given like 10 or 12 of these things away because I just feel like, if you can start to learn about coins that way and fill it, and there's so much joy in flipping the album and being like, okay, yeah, this page is almost full and whatever. That's really the best way to get into this hobby, but in an intelligent way.
Yeah, I think it also, it's having those holes to fill creates a sense of motivation, right? I mean, you want to fill those holes, and as you said, you can select what budget level you're participating at, what budget level, and from there you have opportunities to upgrade. I do agree that a typeset is a great gateway drug towards numismatics. I think that specialized collection, most collectors will eventually find their way there in some respect, just because you tend to want to dive deep, or at least I tend to want to dive deep in my collecting. Type collecting makes you very knowledgeable about a lot of different things, but an expert about nothing. And I know I like being an expert about at least one thing. I mean, you know as well as I, this job requires you to be an expert in essentially everything. But for my personal collecting,
yes,
I want to be able to dive as deep as I possibly can into one topic. And I think that's what specialized collecting really allows me to do. But the typeset is fun. I assembled many typesets, from circulated, barely identifiable coins to nice mint state coins. But it takes time to do a typeset, to do a nice typeset.
Yes, it does. It does. But for me, so I started with typeset. I moved to specialized. But the typeset is still always in the background.
Sure.
And I tend to be more eclectic collector than you, as you well know.
Absolutely. For people watching, Ben Orooji has one of the most eclectic tastes in our entire company. If you have questions on a very esoteric metal or token, Ben is the person to see. Shoot him an email, shoot him a DM. He will be happy to research it for you. But Ben has quite an eclectic taste, and I think that opens up a lot of opportunities, doesn't it?
Sure. Yeah, you learn about a lot of different things, and I think that's maybe that's one of the reasons why I like typeset too, because I get to focus on a lot of different things at once. And then I can get very excited about, one particular issue.
Sure.
And, I dive deep, as you say, maybe not as deep as you would have, but, I dive deep on one type of thing and I get excited about it. And then I move on, to other parts of the typeset.
Sure.
But as far as tokens and metals and, this account that we're on, is antique play money,
antique play money,
esoteric, little thing. But I collect things with skulls. I collected Sasanian coinage for a while. I like to move around in the hobby, but I think that doing so intelligently is really important, because I see a lot of people when they get started in the hobby and they go into a coin show or a coin shop and they just buy the first thing that caught their eye.
Sure.
And then they didn't really buy it with any purpose, and the thing I tell new collectors all the time is you want to buy with a purpose. So,
sure.
Either you're filling a hole in your typeset, or you bought something and then you want to, specialize in that one thing.
Right.
That's how you build a meaningful collection. When we get consignments in and we see people who have built a meaningful collection, one, we can market it well.
Of course. Yeah.
People are very interested, and then it brings the money.
Right.
Whereas when somebody went willy-nilly and bought everything, you can kind of tell.
Sure. No, I mean, you can tell the difference between hoarding, between hoarding and collecting. It's being informed, right? It's that intelligent philosophy. And I see we have a nice library behind you, and the old adage for collecting is buy the book before the coin, right? It's about being knowledgeable, and whether you want to start a typeset or you want to specialize in something, it's about being educated and doing your research. I mean, that's, as Ben said, that's what we find when we're evaluating or selling great collections. It's because someone's put the time, the energy into really learning about what they're buying. And we hope that with our comprehensive cataloging behind all of our lots, we're able to educate our clients as well. So I think being educated is very, very important at any level. If you're buying $10 coins, it's important. If you're buying $10,000 coins, it's also important.
Sure. Yeah. The one thing, the numismatics is, dubbed the hobby of kings, because, people who got into this hobby, from the get-go, they had the wealth to, accumulate nice things. And that makes sense. And a lot of people nowadays, they do have disposable income where they can divert it. But, we all have different levels of course, disposable. And the thing is that even with $10 as your budget to buy coins, you can buy nice coins.
100%.
specialize in a series and buy $10 coins and build a nice collection that somebody's going to enjoy looking at, somebody's going to, learn a lot from, and it can even be passed down if you wanted to,
sure.
somebody, like your family. And you've spent $10 at a time.
I mean, you buy in this industry. We get spoiled by the expensive coins we get to see, but that doesn't make us any less appreciative for a fantastic $10 coin, right?
Oh, absolutely not. Yeah, we're coin geeks. That's the thing. Some people are like, oh yeah, I found this very valuable thing and whatnot, and they show it to me, and yes, it's worth $1,000, but it's cleaned, holed, and plugged, and
Right.
it's scrubbed. And I'm not all that interested in that item. Even though it is worth $1,000, I'm much more interested in a really beautiful $100 coin.
100% quality.
Yeah, absolutely.
So Ben, it looks like we're coming in at the end of our time now. So do you want any closing remarks? Do you want to tell clients how to get in contact with you?
Sure. I mean, you can always DM me here. I'm on Facebook. My name is pretty recognizable. You can contact me there. I'm BOROOJI@stacksbowers.com. If you want to send me an email, and you're also welcome to call me up anytime. Our names and numbers and emails are in front of all of our catalogs and on the website. So, hit us up anytime.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm James McCartney. I'm in our New York City office. Again, just like Ben, you could DM me, email me, jm@stacks.com. We're both excited to talk coins at any moment. Happy to review any collections or answer any questions you have. Both of our offices are in full operation during the pandemic. So if there's anything we could do for you, whether it's appraisals, an advance on an auction consignment, or just you feel like chatting coins, you feel lonely and you want to chat some coins, just reach out to me, reach out to Ben, or come check us out here on the Stacks Bowers channel. We'll be here every Tuesday and every Thursday. So that's all I have from me this week. So Ben, thanks for joining, and you're going to be here every Thursday, right?
I'll see you next time as well. We'll figure out something good to talk about.
I'm sure we will. And to everyone watching at home, thank you very much for watching. We will see you guys next week. Have a good weekend.
Yep. Bye.